David Viscott and welcome back. This is an interesting show. You know what's interesting about the show is it's always different, isn't it? You never know just quite what's going to appear, and that's what keeps it fresh, I guess. It sort of keeps me interested.
Okay, we have a call about dreams next. Kathy's on line 9, and she's frightened by her dreams.
Kathy.
Hello.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
How old are you?
28.
What's the dream?
I've been having the same type of dreams over and over again. It's about I'm having my fingers cut off in some way or another.
Give me an example of the ways in which your fingers are cut off.
Well, like tonight when I was going to sleep, I had a dream that I was chopping some salad and cut one of my fingers off.
By accident.
That one was, yeah, that was by accident.
Okay. What else?
Some of the dreams I have, or somebody else is trying to cut my fingers off. Or
Who?
I don't know. One of them was an ex-boyfriend from a long time ago, and another one was somebody trying to break into my house.
The ex-boyfriend. Tell me a little bit about him.
He was a creep, a maniac.
And how did you get him angry?
When I broke up with him.
Okay, so why'd you break up with him?
Oh, well, I tried to break up with him for about 3 or 4 years.
Uh-huh.
And then
That's a telling statement in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I finally did when, for good, I got away from him when I met the man who's my husband now. That was 2 years ago.
Okay. Ever have a dream with your husband's cutting off your fingers?
No, never.
So that would tell you what?
I'm not scared of him.
You're not scared of him. Okay. Are you scared of yourself?
Of myself?
What an interesting question.
I don't think so. Never thought of that.
Yeah, but you know what I think it is? I don't think you are a person who feels terribly sure about yourself. And so what happens is that when someone hurts you, 4 years you're trying to break up with someone, you end up holding in a lot of anger. The anger that you hold in becomes directed at you. You have these guilt-laden thoughts which translate in the dream state into you chopping your fingers off. All it is anger. And your bad, I hate to use the word bad, but your poor adaptation to dealing with anger of your own or another person's. You see, 4 years in a relationship where there's a lot of anger that's not expressed is a 4-year period in which there's a tremendous amount of feelings being held under the surface. And you must be storing them up. And when they get stored up, sometimes they lose their identity and they just lie there. Is there any contact with this other guy now?
No, none.
Has there been even the slightest attempt on his part to contact?
Yeah, I saw his sister a few months ago, and she told me he was trying to get a hold of me.
Okay. Did the dreams increase at that point?
That I started having dreams about him trying to break in my house and kill
At that
me.
point?
Right after that.
Sure. See, everything has to do with your inability to deal with your anxiety and anger. When the dream started was what, 2 years ago?
The dreams? Oh, actually, these dreams just about a month and a half. About a month ago, I guess. A month and a half ago.
All the dreams of chopping started then?
Yes.
They're all related to your fear of him coming back. And they awakened your feelings that you would not be able to deal with the anger you feel towards him when he does. And they reawakened the anger that you've had in the past towards him that you never really completely dealt with. That's all they're about. Do you think you're in any danger?
I'm not really sure.
That's the point.
I always just think one day maybe he'll see me, and if he's really drunk or something, do something to me.
Like what?
Like try to attack me or my husband.
So that's the fear you live in.
Yeah, when I think about it, it's pretty scary.
Well, of course. And so you can't think about it, you say. You push it away?
Yeah.
Is your husband aware?
Pretty much.
What does pretty much mean?
Oh, he knows. He doesn't like him either at all.
I know, but is he aware of the dreams you're having?
Yeah, he's the one who told me to call.
Okay. And tell him this is what it means. So that his sister, you didn't tell her anything, did you?
No.
Smart. Okay. So does he have any idea what your married name is?
Yeah, he does.
Then he knows how to find you.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of worried about.
And he hasn't tried to find you,
No,
which means he's not trying to find you.
I hope not.
Okay. So he may have mentioned to his sister that he'd like to talk to you or see you or say something like that. But the point is, you just have to stay aware of this and work out a plan with your husband of how you would deal with it. Bring it up. Talk about it every time you feel it. Talk about how angry you are, and also talk about how out of control you feel.
Okay.
All right? The main thing is keeping it up on the surface so that it's manageable, because the feeling that you hide and the feeling you bury is the feeling you lose control over discussing. That's the important thing. Keep it current, and then it won't appear in the dream.
Sounds like she's just going to have to wait it out with time. I mean, will the fear lessen as, the months go by and he doesn't try and get a hold of her?
They can also get worse, too, but the main thing is talking about it is what lowers the tension. See, reality and dreams are not related. They're related in that one spurs the other on, but a little bit of pain can stir a hugely painful dream, so that they don't balance each other off. Who's up?
Okay, we have David. He's on line A, and he's worried about the future with his lover who's returned.
David. David?
Is he there on line A?
Can you hear me?
I got you, David.
Okay, now I can hear you. I needed some advice on keeping boundaries that I draw for myself.
How old are you, David?
I'm a 35-year-old gay white male. I'm HIV positive, and I'm also manic depressive. My significant other is a 24-year-old gay black male that is PWA.
He's a person with AIDS?
Correct. We've been together about 3.5 years, but the past 2 years have been very intense with his drug addiction. I personally relate to that. I had my own active addiction some 10 years ago, but we've gone through the attempts with the drug rehabs, and when we would be apart, I would build up from the material losses of the household thefts, and there was a point that I lost just about everything. His anger and his aggressions kind of got to the point finally that he was arrested and sent to prison. And when he came back home, that's when I discovered about my own HIV status, which it later came out he knew he was HIV positive when we were together.
And didn't tell you?
No, he didn't tell me at that time. And today, he's in the hospital with an AIDS complicated infection. And we're finding ourselves talking about coming together because he's talking about having an understanding of, how good I was and how good this was. But mostly he's also understanding a little bit more about his own drug addiction. And
David, what do you want?
I'm real anxious now about keeping myself safe. Drawing the boundaries and being able to
safe from what? Safe from what?
I want to keep myself safe.
From what?
From going back to the times of the Great Destruction where things are coming out of the house, and I don't want to live with an active using drug addict and all the things that I had to go through.
Why do you want to live with this guy?
Well, him as a person, not him as the disease of his addiction.
He comes with his disease. He comes with his addiction. He comes with it all.
This is true. Right now, we're back to the point that he's clean and sober again. In the back of my mind, I keep wondering, well, how long will it last this time? And that's a very negative thought.
How sick is he?
Well, right now, it appears that he could be coming home on the 2nd, depending if the infection had gotten into the bone or not.
All right. What are his T cells?
He's 200.
Right on the edge.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's precarious with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are your T cells?
My T cells are a little over 600.
Okay. Important to know these things.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think that things are sounding good, but they sounded good before. and I believe what he has to say, and I don't believe that there's anything as a false hope. Hope is always truth. But I don't also want to go through the destruction that I've known, where I lost almost everything in my house.
Well, you can't take the risk then. Don't make it more complicated than that. You just can't take the risk.
And the hard part is it seems that I want to do this, but I guess I can't have my cake and eat it too.
You can't handle it. You're not well either, right?
No.
That's the truth. You have to admit it. I mean, you have to accept and admit the condition, and you have to realize that stress plays an enormous role in this. And when you think of the definition of stress, it's the pressure of an unexpressed feeling. And when that's anxiety, that anxiety that you have combines with the anxiety that you have about your own dying, about his dying, about losing things, about being alone, about being uncared for. All those anxieties pull together. And when you bring his anxiety onto you, it may be more than you can handle, and it may be so detrimental to you that it's really not worth it. You have to come from the greatest strength you can, and you have to save yourself primarily in this situation. I'm not even making a comment about the fact that he knew he was HIV positive and didn't tell you. How do you feel about that?
It's kind of what I thought you were going to say. I've been doing therapy for about 8 months.
The question was, how do you feel about your...
I don't like it.
Okay. What have you told him?
Just that I couldn't understand, and I still can't understand.
And what does he say?
He tells me that there was a point that he had a lot of confusion and a lot of fear, and then he usually tries to avoid it by bringing up, well, how do you know? Nobody would know that I did this for sure. And I keep saying, but I'm very sure, because there was nobody else that I was with. You know, 1 in a zillion chance it could have been hiding inside of me, but that's a very thin chance to bank everything on.
All right. So the main thing is he's not taking responsibility, and that means he's not really able to say he's sorry. And that adds to it by giving you more stress. This man should not be in your life. I tell you this as a physician. He shouldn't be in your life because what he brings to your life is confusion, frustration, stress, and more pain. And one thing you don't need in your life right now.
More stress.
More stress and pain. Anyhow, that's the best thing to do. You should be alone now and not with him. You should be with people that you can trust. And if you have to think about it, you don't trust the person. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. David Viscott, and welcome back. That's a sad call, that last one. It's so sad because it's a call of our times. It just is. People being out of control, not thinking, being selfish, and being sick, and communicating a terrible disease. Who's next?
Okay, we have Christine. She's on line 7, and she's upset over something she saw tonight.
Christine.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How old are you?
18.
What happened?
We were driving along the freeway tonight, my mother and her friend and me and my fiance, and we saw a guy flagging us over to the side of the road. So we did. We went alongside the road, and me, my fiance, and my friend got out, and we ran over there to see what was wrong. And when I ran up there, I saw a body in the road. A guy who flagged us over walked by and says he's gone. And no one was doing anything, and everybody was just driving by really slow. And so I went over there to try to do something. And
What did you think you might do?
I saw a bunch of kids in cars driving by, and I didn't want them to see, what I saw.
Why?
Because what I saw scared me.
What did you see?
I saw a man in pieces. He had no head. And so a girl came up to me and gave me a sheet and she says, go put it over him so nobody else sees until the police arrive. So I walked over there and I put it over him, and when I saw what he looked like, now I can't sleep.
When did this happen?
This happened earlier tonight around between 10 and 10:30, and we waited for the cops to arrive, and I found a checkbook and one of his shoes because his leg was missing, and we told the police, and they said, well, are you a witness? And I said, no, I'm just, trying to see if I can help at all, because we had flashers, and we put those out on the side of the road. And she said, thank you, and, we left, but ever since then, I've been shaking, and I feel like I'm going to get sick to my stomach, and I can't fall asleep.
Well, it just happened.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be upset.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen a terrible scene for you.
Yeah.
And there's no way you could be prepared for it.
Right.
I remember once I was driving along a highway on Cape Cod, and there were some cars at the side of the road, and I pulled over because there was obviously someone having some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought maybe I could be of assistance. And when I came over, there was a man behind the steering wheel who had just pulled over and had a heart attack and died.
Mm-hmm.
So I opened the window and I opened the door and took his pulse, and he had no pulse. And
Yeah.
I indicated to people that he was gone and suggested that that's what was happened. But I was prepared for that. I mean, I trained for that. I dissected bodies when I was in medical school. I'd seen all that stuff. I'd been in the emergency room, seeing people coming in terrible shape. But you, 18, with no preparation and no sense whatsoever of the things that you were seeing, no anticipation of it, that was a horrible thing to go through.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have blood on my shoe, and I feel dirty. I can't, I usually bite my nails when I'm nervous, and I can't even do that because I'm scared.
All right. What did you do since you came back?
Basically, trying to get through to you, I talked to my mom.
All right. The first thing I want you to do
Okay.
is go into the bathroom
Mhm.
right now,
Mhm.
after you hang up.
Okay.
Take a shower and wash your hair.
Okay.
Just scrub your whole self,
Okay.
just to get the feeling of cleaning yourself up.
Okay.
And a hot shower,
Okay.
all right?
Yeah.
And have a glass of hot milk.
Okay.
And, if you want to watch some television, you can do that.
Mhm.
But you ought to try to just,
Yeah.
don't tune on to too much excitement. The images that are going to come past you,
Mhm.
don't push them away,
Okay.
all right?
Yeah.
Just let them come past. It's an intense experience, and don't be afraid that this will not happen. I mean, if you said, "Oh, I had this experience happening and I went to sleep tonight," I would be very surprised.
Really?
Yeah, that's totally normal.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to have nightmares, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly happened, and I don't want to think about it.
What do you mean? What happened with that person?
Yeah, what exactly happened?
He was in a terrible accident.
But there was no car around. I mean, how did he get out there? And I wanted to help him.
You didn't. It was you were much too late for that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that whatever accident caused this, you couldn't possibly see.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Go take a hot shower.
Okay, I will.
And lots of lather.
Okay.
And take your time. Forget the water shortage. Just use it up.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Difficult things to go through are the crises and the traumas that we see. Can you imagine now, hearing the pain of this person, what it must have been like for someone to go through the concentration camps and to see all those horrors around them, and to see the impacts that this has on a person's life, and the impact that trauma has on us. It isn't so much the horror of it, but it's the hopelessness and the powerlessness we feel to change our plight. Who's next?
Okay, we have Karen. She's on line D, and sex makes her feel dirty.
Karen?
Yes.
Hi.
Is the TV too loud?
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Can you wave at me?
Yeah.
Wave at me.
Hi.
Hi. How old are you, Karen?
55.
How long have you felt that sex makes you feel dirty?
Well, I'm beginning to think just about any time.
All right. Have you ever not felt that?
I don't think so. I did not have sex while I was in college, but I did mess around, so to speak.
Why did you mess around? Did you enjoy it?
Well, it was mostly because that seemed to be what was expected of me.
You were in college in the 50s.
Yeah.
And in the 50s, that wasn't what was expected of you.
Well, it seemed to be what I was being pushed into.
Well, we all know that everyone was pushing, but compliance wasn't a regular thing, say, till the 60s.
I know.
So you know something else that you're not telling me. Tell me the rest.
I can't hear you now real well.
Of course you can't hear me, because I'm raising a point you don't want to look at. Right?
I guess I'll say it again.
The point is that you were more willing than you're saying, right?
I don't really think so.
Then you wouldn't have been in the situation.
Well, I think I've always had a trouble saying no.
Why did you have trouble saying no? That's the important thing.
I guess I was afraid of being rejected.
Okay. So if you had trouble saying no, that means that you felt you were doing something bad.
Yeah.
Okay. But you did it.
Yeah.
So that you felt you were doing something bad. Who was it who taught you about sex, or didn't teach you about sex, or gave you, or told you rumors about sex?
Well, I didn't have much conversation with my parents, but I guess it would have been.
And the conversation that you did had said sex was, in a word,
Something I guess you had to do.
you had to do. So
Well, something you were supposed to definitely wait for until you were married, and I had been told to watch out for guys. That's what they would be after.
And you know, it's that old story that whatever you tell a kid, they somehow manipulate reality into producing. You tell a kid, as my mother's fond of saying, don't stick peas up your nose, and you come home, all the kids have peas up their nose. Your mother says, well, it's something you have to do, but you should never do it, and you're doing it, and you can't say no. So the feeling you had was that you felt dirty.
Yeah. Yeah, I really.
But dirty, I wonder whether you felt angry also at Mother.
I don't know, I just always felt like I was doing things wrong.
Yeah, but I wonder if you felt you were doing other things wrong besides sex. She was difficult to please?
Pardon me?
You have trouble hearing the hard things. She was difficult to please?
Yes.
How did I know that? How would I guess a thing like your mother was difficult to please?
Because I always felt like I was doing things wrong.
Okay. So when you feel you're doing things wrong all the time, maybe you do things wrong just for spite. Sometimes, for example, this is important. Sometimes a parent will say to you that you're no good and that you're stupid. And what you end up doing is failing and proving that you're no good and stupid just to make their prophecy come true, so you can say to yourself, look what you did to me. You set me up for this. Another way of saying this is that you don't achieve success or feel good about yourself because it would let your parents off the hook. Your parents could say, see what a success my daughter is and what a wonderful person she is, and look how happy she is. We did a wonderful job bringing her up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Definition of the end of adolescence. When you can do what is right for you and good for you, even if it pleases your parents.
I see.
You know what's wrong with this conversation?
No.
You're 55 years old, kid.
Yeah?
You ain't no spring chicken.
You're right.
And this is a very old feeling, and it's been cooking around there for forever.
Well, it messed up my relationship. The guys had messed up my relationship with my ex-husband, which was a year ago.
How did you do that?
I mainly felt that he took advantage of a very sad person when he first met me, and he tried to have sex for the first time, and he tried to comfort me when I'd been crying, and he just went on from there.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah?
He wasn't the first person who did that, was he?
No.
Okay, so why are you blaming him for all the others as well as himself? You're making him do double duty, right? Can you see that?
I suppose.
Right. And you're also blaming him for you're not saying no.
Yeah.
Right. And how long ago were you with this man?
30 years.
And so you never forgave him.
I never forgave myself either.
It's time. What a waste of time.
You're right.
I mean, it's silly. No matter what you did what you did because you did it. I mean, whether you were angry at your parents, whether you felt you had to defeat yourself, whether you felt you had to have an unhappy marriage just to show that they had done all this damage to you, the point is, enough already.
I just feel like I've been paying for sin all my life.
Well, so what?
I know I'm supposed to be interested in sex, and that...
Wait, don't make sex the issue. Come on, sex is
okay.
not the issue.
Okay.
The issue is anger.
Yeah.
All right? You have to forgive your parents for not being more understanding, and you have to forgive yourself for not being wiser.
Okay.
I mean, come on. You're 55 years old. Maybe you got a few years left, you know. Oh, you hated that one, didn't you?
Well, no, I've thought about ending it before.
Don't do that. I think what you should end is the falseness.
Falseness.
The falseness, and start the truth. The truth is that you're a good person and you deserve to be happy. And this whole business of self-destructiveness that you thought of ending it is just a reflection of the negativity that you have placed on yourself all through your relationship with your husband and through your childhood. It's time to let go. Have you ever done any therapy at all?
I've tried it, and I'm seeing a family counselor right now since the divorce.
Uh-huh. Do you discuss these issues?
It hasn't really come out yet. She's just trying to get me to get on with life.
Yeah, well, the main thing that's keeping you from getting on with life is that you don't forgive yourself. Come on. It's up to you. You have to let it go now. I mean, all right. Guilty as charged. You did all these horrible things. You screwed everybody in sight. You falsely accused your husband. You were a rotten kid, and you were terrible to your mother, all right? And she was terrible to you, right? Are we in agreement?
No, she really wasn't terrible. She just expected too much of me.
So that we'll call it terrible for the point of our discussion. All right, everybody guilty as charged, right?
Okay.
Sentence, 30 years of unhappy marriage. Time served. It's over.
Okay.
What else do you need? Do you know what I mean? Is 30 years hard labor too much for this? I think so. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. It's time to forgive yourself. It's time to move on. I don't know what you're waiting for, but it's time to move on. You can hold grudges against the world. You can feel terrible about yourself. You can blame other people for the way your life has turned out. But in the end, everything depends upon you saying, enough is enough. I forgive myself. I deserve to be happy. And start making choices that are in your best interests. You know something? That sounds too simple. It's only because it can be as simple as that. We'll be right back. David Viscott, welcome back. We have a lot of program for you, a lot of calls. Who's next?
Okay, we have another Karen. She's on line C, and she's 4 months pregnant and has an unfaithful boyfriend.
Karen?
Yes,
Oh, what a sad voice. How old are you, Karen?
I'm 25,
How far along are you?
4 months.
Okay, tell me the story.
I've been involved with a person for about a year and a half now, and it's a relationship where I feel I do most of the caring, I do most of the putting out, and it's not being reciprocated.
Okay. And?
And there's a lot of, there's hardly any communication. I see this person probably a couple of times a week, and when we do see each other, all we do is argue, and I'm being told that he's tired of hearing me whine about the same thing over and over again.
How does he feel about the pregnancy?
He said that he's happy about it and that he's looking forward to it,
Forward to what?
to becoming a father. But yet, he's not around.
So what do you deduce from that?
What do I, what now?
What do you decide about that? What does that sound like to you? Is he interested?
No.
All right. So he's not interested.
Right.
Okay. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure this out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's not interested. He's not around. He's showing all signs of irritation at you, and he's pushing you away, and he's
Right.
and he's not involved.
Right.
And besides, on the best of days, you were the one doing all the caring, right?
Right.
Okay. Not great.
No.
Not great. So what do you want to do?
I just, I want to have a happy life. I mean, it seems like his life is becoming more and more exciting.
Can you have a
He does.
happy life being a single mother without him having any interest? Yes or no?
Yes. I mean, I am a mother already.
Uh-huh. Single mother for that kid too?
Yeah, I have a 5-year-old son.
Okay. So, you think you can handle the two of them? Is that what you want?
Yes, that's what I want.
Okay, that's what you got. Okay? He's going to give you nothing. Don't count it a thing. Not a dollar of support.
And just move on.
You have to. Because the last thing in the world you ever want to do is to force someone to be involved with the child when they really don't want to be involved with the child. All you're going to do is set the child up with false expectations that Daddy really loves you, he'll just be around. Daddy really loves you, that he's forgot your birthday. Daddy really loves you, he hasn't been here in 6 months. The kid says, is that what love is like? Not to care, not to be around?
What about my feelings, though? I mean, I feel like I've done something wrong, like I'm not lovable.
Well, you have done something wrong. You didn't realize in the middle of all this giving that you were inventing the relationship and this guy was giving nothing. And when that happens, you don't have a relationship. It was your need to have a relationship that colored the relationship, that invented the relationship, that made it seem as if it was happening when nothing was happening.
Okay.
Well, you say that real soft. What do you mean, okay?
Yes, I've heard it before.
From whom?
I'm in counseling now.
And the counselor said?
She's trying to help me. It's like my thinking is so warped. I mean, I don't know what's acceptable from a relationship. I don't know what I can expect or anything. And
Well, because of your experience at home,
when I was growing up, you mean?
of course.
Yeah.
What
I
did you?
believe that.
Huh?
I believe that.
What did you experience when you were growing up?
I came from an alcoholic family where my father abused my mom.
Well, that's not the correct lesson. But what often happens with alcoholic children is that they imagine a relationship to be closer than it is merely because they want to be in a relationship.
Right. And I find myself trying to please everybody, and I don't trust anybody, and I feel like I'm always being betrayed, and everyone's like,
You're
oh,
not being betrayed at all. You've never been betrayed. Do you understand that? You have not been betrayed. If you're like most children of alcoholics, what you've done is you've created a relationship and you've given into the relationship, and when you stop giving, the relationship just becomes normal. And it feels like betrayal, but basically it's the relationship you didn't want to look at that you begin to see once you stop doing all the giving. Doesn't that make more sense?
yeah.
He was that way all along. I mean, really, you could have predicted this. So how are you going to deal with this kid and be a single mom? Well, how are you going to handle that?
Just try to support it the best way I can
How are you going to do that?
through working.
What do you do?
I have my own business, which I'm not really interested in, but I am looking for regular employment.
Okay. You want this guy's kid?
Yeah, I've debated abortion, and I've decided I was going to go ahead and keep it because I'm so far along now.
Is that the only reason?
I mean, I do want this child.
Okay, but is the fact that you're 4 months along the only reason?
No, I mean, I wanted a child, another child.
Okay. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
I think you're brave. I also think you have to take a look at things. Things are precisely where they are. You have to learn to meet people at the place they come from and not allow, this is your life lesson, and not allow your needs to make people into better than they are only to be disappointed later. No one lets you down. You overestimate them, and that makes it hard for them to live up to your standard. It's a tough thing, gosh. I wish more could be done, but we can't. What? Who's next?
Okay, we have Josephina. She's on line 3, and there's a sexual identity problem here.
Josephina? Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Jo-
Yeah, how you doing, Dr. Viscott?
That voice.
Well, I haven't done anything yet. I'm getting ready to go in transition, but the problem is I still like women.
Wait a second. You're a guy.
Well, I'm a transsexual.
Right now you're a guy.
Right.
Okay, let's just go from where it is, all right? And are you planning to have an operation?
Yes.
Okay, how far along are you in that process?
I haven't gone anywhere. Right now, I'm getting ready to go in counseling to get the hormones and get it going.
But you still like guys?
Right.
Explain.
I'm afraid later on in a relationship that when changes are going to start that it would end, or whether I should lie and keep a relationship going, or that type of thing. I still like women, but I'm still planning on going through surgery.
Wait a second. You still like women?
Right.
Do you like guys?
No, I've went to bed with guys. I just don't. I haven't. No, I don't like guys.
So why would you have an operation? You like women. You don't like
Right.
guys. Why would you?
Because I think of myself as more of a woman than a guy.
Yeah, but if you become a woman, you give up the only sex life you enjoy.
That's true, but I still.
Wait. If that's true, that's enough truth for me to slow down. Why?
Because I feel I'm more of a woman than a man. I don't relate.
So
to
what does
men.
it mean to be a woman or a man? You mean to be an asexual woman is what you'd rather be? You'd rather be an asexual woman than a sexual man?
I still like women, but I think of myself.
You'd rather
more
be
as
an
a woman.
asexual. Okay, hey, come on, talk to me. You'd rather be an asexual woman than a sexual man?
Right.
Why?
Because I don't think of myself as a guy. I mean, I've went to bed with women as a guy, and I don't think of.
You don't what? You went to bed with women as a guy.
And
you're a guy. You went to bed
Right.
with women, and
I don't enjoy it as much as I would if I was a woman. I
you'd
don't
rather
think
be
I
a
would.
woman going to bed with women.
Right.
What would be the difference? What would be the difference of doing that compared to going to bed with them as a man?
I don't know. I just.
Well, you better know, because this is very, very... the fantasy of being a woman with another woman is a fantasy that a lot of men have who aren't gay and who aren't transsexual.
But if any of them.
That's a normal fantasy for a man.
Right, but I'm positive.
And that is one of the fantasies that allows men to get off watching two women have sex with each other. because they identify with the woman. But it doesn't mean that they want to be a woman. It means they want to, that's a fantasy.
Right.
And usually that fantasy is a fantasy from which the man wishes to retreat at will. Now, to have an operation, you won't be able to retreat at will. Why can't you have sex with a woman and pretend you're a woman having sex with a woman?
I've tried that. It just, I don't know.
Well, how far do you get with it?
All the way through. I have problems when it comes to,
What is the problem
I
you
feel
have?
like I should be the woman, not the man.
Well, I mean, you can work that out. I mean, it's not hard to work a thing like that out. I'll tell you one thing. If you were my patient, I wouldn't give the okay to start you on drugs. You're not honest. You're not ready. You're too screwed up in the head about all this. This is not a clear case. You feel you're more of a woman than a man. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But I still, where the problem gets is I still like women.
Of course, that means that if you still like women and you don't like men, guess what? You're heterosexual. I'm sorry to break the news to you. I wish I could do more for you, but you shouldn't have the operation. At least not now. What is you're seeing a psychiatrist?
Yeah, and the person I was seeing was saying that sexual preference didn't have a matter to do with who I liked. It was who I identified myself as.
That may well be, but why are you calling me if that issue is completely settled?
Because it's the fact that I still like women. That's where the issue is.
And what does he say about that, the psychiatrist?
She says you'll just be lesbian, accept it.
I think that's too. I'm sorry, and that's just too casual a toss away from me. How would you feel if someone cut off your right arm and said you can be left-handed? You'll get used to it.
I would say that wouldn't work.
Yeah, well, hang on to your penis, pal. It might come in handy when you grow up. You're 25. You don't sound like you got all of your screws tightened together on this issue. And I say this to you as a friend and as a physician. I would not give you the go-ahead on this. You need a lot of therapy. Not just about this issue, but understanding what it is you want. You like women.
And that's where the problem comes in.
Well, then that's a problem that would indicate to me that you have to hang on. It's not quite settled yet, and I don't care whether to be a lesbian woman, I don't think is the answer right at this moment for you. It doesn't sound clear. I would postpone any drastic surgery till you understood yourself more. I wouldn't even begin the hormones. But therapy is indicated. And you know what? Are you there?
Yeah.
I think you need another opinion, too. Go for it. David Viscott, we will be right back. And you stay there. Viscott, and welcome back. One last call.
Okay, we'll take Lynn. She's on line 9, and her special abilities are driving her crazy.
Lynn?
Hi, Doctor.
Hi, Lynn. We had just about 3 minutes.
I know. This is the one that was involved in the truck accident. I called you about a year ago, and I knew the accident was going to happen.
Right.
Okay, I want to know if there's a chemical correlation between being psychic. I've been this way since my late teens. It comes and goes in phases, and sometimes, like right now, it's driving me absolutely bananas.
What are you seeing?
Pardon?
What are you seeing?
What am I seeing?
Yeah, what is driving you bananas?
Oh, knowing what's going on before it ever happens.
Tell me what you're picking up.
Okay, for instance, this earthquake.
Yeah.
I'm good about quakes. I usually pick them up a couple of weeks before they happen. This one hit. A friend called me from Laughlin and said, "You guys had a quake." I said, "Yeah, we did." And hang on to your britches because we're going to have another one that's even bigger. It's just things like that. The truck company teamed me up with a new hire. I went down to meet him to see if we'd make a decent team or not. I look at this guy, and I'm thinking straight out the gate, he's not going anywhere. The terminal calls me up the next morning and said, "We just fired your driver." I mean, it's just...
All right, but, first of all,
Yeah.
to be intuitive means to be intuitive. A lot of people are intuitive, don't call it psychic or anything like that.
Mhm.
You're a very open person. You could be more open and less crazy about it. It's important if
Yeah.
you just enjoyed it. And part of what you're doing, and I'm going to say it to you, is you're bragging.
Yeah, but doctor,
Stop.
it's driving me nuts.
I know, but you're bragging like a lot of psychics I have heard in my life. I've been around this,
That's why I'm asking you.
All right.
As a medical physician,
no,
is there
no.
anything chemical here?
No, nothing.
Okay, because over the years I've tried to keep like a dietary chart because it comes and
what
goes
you
in
need
waves.
to do, what you need to do, is keep a diary of all your predictions
I have.
and take a look at them and develop a sense of them and,
Okay.
and develop a certain sense of confidence and realize how much of the time you're wrong, because you're also wrong a lot, right?
I never thought about that.
You're wrong a lot, aren't you?
Actually, no. It seems like I never make a prediction unless it does. I don't read professionally or anything
I
like that.
understand that, but if you kept an accurate journal, you'd find that you're wrong a lot of the time as well.
I don't know.
I do, and that's what I want you to do. Keep that journal, get a sense of the balance between right and wrong, and as you do that, you'll feel a little less omnipotent, and that'll give you a little more humbleness, and in that, I think you'll feel better. Arlene, thanks for your help tonight.
No problem. Good to be here.
Yeah, busy night. The truth is, folks, there are a lot of things that we don't understand. Psychic ability is one, but the things that are hardest to understand is why we do things that aren't good for ourselves, allow people who aren't kind to us in our lives, and don't speak up when we hurt. Those are the things you can really do something about. Those are the things that really can empower you. Take a little more charge of the feelings in your life, speak the hurt you feel more directly, more to the point, and more when you feel it, and you'll take control of your life. You stay with us, because we'll be with you next week. And if the aftershocks don't get you, you'll be back here with me too, I can tell.
You may wish to contact the Viscott Center at 1-800-426-4432. The center is open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Private consultation is available for a fee.